His Brahmic voice is deep and carries afar. Those who hear him rejoice and are never tired of listening. 13. The color of his body is marvelous, more beautiful than the gold of the Jambu river. 14. A halo 1 arm span in width surrounds his body, of varied colors, incomparable in beauty. Endowed with these 32 marks, this man will, before long, leave home, will attain omniscience and will become Buddha. This is how the physical qualities of the Buddha should be recollected. Moreover, the qualities and the physical strength of the body of the Buddha surpasses 10 myriads of white Gandhahastins. This is physical power inherited from his parents. His supernatural powers, his qualities, and his strength are immense and limitless. The body of the Buddha is adorned with the 32 marks and the 80 minor marks. Inwardly he has the innumerable attributes and qualities of the Buddhas. This is why one does not tire of seeing him. Those who see the Buddha's body forget about the 5 worldly objects of enjoyment and never think of them again. One's happiness is complete on seeing the Buddha's body. One never tires of seeing it. These are the qualities of the Buddha's body under which one should recollect him. 4. The 5 pure aggregates. Sila Skandha. Furthermore, in the Buddha, maintenance of morality is perfect and complete. From the first production of the mind of Bodhi, he practices morality and accumulates it without measure. Endowed with the mind of compassion, he does not seek the fruit of retribution. He does not lean toward the Bodhi of the Sravakas or of the Pratyeka Buddhas. He is without fetters. He maintains discipline from birth to birth only for the purification of his own mind and so as not to harm beings. Thus, when he obtains the Bodhi of the Buddhas, his morality is perfected. This is how one should recollect the aggregate of morality of the Buddha. Samadhiskandha. Furthermore, the aggregate of samadhi is perfected in the Buddha. Question. We can know that the Buddha is disciplined because his bodily and vocal actions are pure. We can know that he is wise because he explains the Dharma in detail and cuts through the doubts of beings. But in regard to meditative stabilization, it is impossible to know if a third person is practicing it, especially if it is a Buddha. Answer. As the great wisdom of the Buddha is perfect, it must be concluded that his dhyanas and his absorptions are perfected. Similarly, when we see that the lotus flowers are large, we agree that the pool must also be large. When we see that the light of the lamp is large, we agree that there is also abundant oil. And so, since the supernatural powers and the prodigious strength of the Buddha are immense and incomparable, we know that the power of his dhyanas and his absorptions is also perfected. When we see that an effect is great, we know that its cause is necessarily great. Furthermore, in some circumstances, the Buddha himself said to people that his dhyanas and samadhis are very deep. The miracle of Aduma. It is said in a sutra that the Buddha was in the land of Atyamo, seated in meditation under a tree. Suddenly there was a heavy rainstorm with lightning and thunder. 4 cowherds and 2 workmen were so frightened by the noise that they died. A few moments later, calm returned and the Buddha went out to walk. A Vaishya, having bowed down to the Buddha's feet, walked along after him and said, Bhagavath, for a moment there was thunder, lightning, and 4 cowherds as well as 2 workmen were so frightened by this noise that they died. Did the Bhagavath not hear the crash? The Buddha said, I heard nothing. The Vaishya. Was the Buddha sleeping at that moment? The Buddha said, No, I was not asleep. The Vaishya. Had you entered into the absorption of non-identification? The Buddha. No, I was conscious, and I was just in meditative stability. The Vaishya exclaimed. That is wonderful. The dhyanas and the samadhis of the Buddha are great and profound. Being in meditation, fully conscious and fully awake, he did not hear this great noise. In other sutras, the Buddha said to the bhiksus, the samadhis into which the Buddha enters and comes out of, Sariputra and Maudgalyayana do not even know the names of them. How then would they know their nature? See, for example, the samadhi of the king of samadhi, the samadhi of the lion's play, etc. When the Buddha enters them, he makes the universes of the 10 directions shake in 6 ways. He emits great rays, and by emanation he creates innumerable Buddhas who fill the 10 directions. The miracle of the multiplication of the Buddhas. One day Ananda reflected thus. Formerly, under the Buddha jan-teng, people were good, had long life and were easily converted. Today, under the Buddha sakyamuni, people are actually bad, have a short life and are hard to convert. Is Sakyamuni going to enter into nirvana without having completed his work as Buddha? In the morning, Ananda questioned the Buddha about this. The sun had just risen and, at that very moment, the Buddha entered into the samadhi of daybreak. Just as the rays of the rising sun lit up Jambudvipa. So, from the body of the Buddha and from the pores of his skin rays were emitted that illumined universes of the 10 directions, as many as the sands of the Ganges. From each of these rays arose lotus flowers with 1,000 petals made of the 7 jewels. On each of these flowers there was a seated Buddha, each of whom emitted innumerable rays. From each of these rays arose other 1,000-petaled lotus flowers made of the 7 jewels, on each of which was a seated Buddha. All these Buddhas filled universes in the 10 directions as numerous as the sands of the Ganges and converted beings. Some preached the Dharma, others were silent, others walked about, still others, by feats of magic, shot out water and fire successively. They converted beings of the 5 destinies in the 10 directions by these skillful means. By the power of the Buddha, Ananda saw all these things. Then the Buddha withdrew the bases of his magical power, emerged from meditation and asked Ananda if he had seen and heard these things. Ananda replied, "Thanks to the Buddha's power, I saw and I heard." The Buddha asked him, "Does the Buddha have enough power to be able to finish quickly his task as Buddha?" Ananda answered, "O Bhagavath, suppose that the beings filled universes in the 10 directions as numerous as the sands of the Ganges, and the Buddha lived only one single day. If, in order to convert them, the Buddha used the power which you have just demonstrated, he could certainly fully accomplish completely his task as Buddha." And Ananda exclaimed, "It is truly wonderful, O Bhagavath. The Buddha's attributes are immense and inconceivable. This is why we know that the dhyanas and the absorptions of the Buddha are perfected." Prajnaskanda. Furthermore, the wisdom aggregate is perfected in the Buddha. From the first production of the mind of Bodhi and during incalculable periods, there is no dharma that he has not practiced. From existence to existence, he has accumulated qualities. Mindful and resolute, he sacrificed his life to find wisdom, as was the case for the Bodhisattva Setupoluan.